Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nexus, where we spotlight some of our favorite local businesses and our True North Technology stars. Last week we had Franz Antoine here from Antoine Exteriors. That was a lot of fun. He gave us some good perspective on what it's like to be a good business owner, be good to your clients. And so if you guys haven't checked that out, you can do that on our page. And like always, I always like to give you guys a heads up on some of the Tap On It offers that we have out there right now. If you're not signed up, you can text Tap On It to 82928, and then you'll have to confirm your zip code. That way you'll just get really awesome Lincoln offers for things to shop, eat, play, and do. Right now we got a good variety. We have Patty's Pub, Zeppelin's. There's a soap laundry one out there. So if you guys have some extra laundry and you need someone to take care of it for you, they'll do a great job. Rock and Joe's got a great offer too. So check all those out. And without further ado, I'm really excited. I get to have Kolby Blatchford here today. Welcome, Kolby.
Thank you for having
How's
me.
it going?
It's going great. Appreciate you inviting me.
Oh,
Thank you.
of course. I mean, it's like you're hard to get a hold of. I tried to get you on the show a long time ago.
You did, but any opportunity to come see you, I'm gonna take it as much as I can.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you making time for me.
Yeah. Well, why don't you introduce yourself? He's with Alpha Wealth Advisors, and just kind of give us a history on you, where you're from.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Kolby Blatchford, like she said, with Alpha Wealth Advisors. We do financial planning for individuals and businesses. Kind of background on me, I grew up in a small town called Newcastle, Nebraska. It's up in the very northeast corner, basically right across from Vermillion, South Dakota. Grew up on a farm there, just played sports and everything else. My hometown's probably the same size as like a Lincoln High School's like class. It's about 400 people, so really small. Ended up going to the university here in Nebraska, and then I got my degree in nutrition, actually science. I was thinking about going to physical therapy school. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because all I wanted to do was play football in college. I loved football. I tore out my shoulder a couple times, couldn't play anymore. For some reason, I thought.
What position were you?
Quarterback and linebacker.
Oh man, that would have been a bummer.
I know, yeah. But I tried to play.
So you
for a
got
little
pivot.
bit.
I mean, we're all used to that.
Yeah.
These days and age, right?
Exactly. You have to kind of keep up with the times and just do what you can. For some reason, I played rugby in college for a while. I thought that would be better. Held up for about a year or so, and then I couldn't play anymore. And so I got my degree in nutrition, exercise science, because I wanted to help athletes get back on the field. Did some personal training throughout college and after that, and then I job shadowed PT for a while. And I realized, as important as it is, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I was doing some personal training and kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my career. And that's when I met Mike, the current owner of Alpha Wealth. He probably took like 6 months to convince me to become a financial advisor. But the more I looked into it, everyone struggles with their finances one way, shape, or form, whether you're just starting off or you're very well off and everything else. So I thought, this is a good career to get into. So I've been doing it for about 5.5 years now, and I love everything I do about it. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know you're really passionate about it. He's presented at a few of my networking groups before, and I've always really enjoyed it because you always bring a new topic, something that people might not really be familiar with. So I personally think that's something that sets you apart, but what do you feel like sets Alpha Wealth and yourself apart from others?
So the nice thing about being Alpha Wealth, we're independent. So when I first got in the industry, I was captive, and you're a little limited on the products and the strategies you can actually use for your clients. Being independent, we have access to probably over like 60 or 70 different financial companies, investment companies, whatever it is. So those companies, they're constantly competing with each other to have the best products, and that's just a huge advantage for us and our clients.
Yeah.
So we can come to the table with the best strategies, the best products, whatever we need to help our clients reach their goals. So people ask me, what does alpha mean? And it's not just, macho or something like that.
Oh,
so,
come on.
I mean,
it's really
looking at our team, very, very macho guys.
Yeah.
So alpha is actually a score given to investment strategies' ability to beat the market. What gives it its edge. So that's how I feel like we hold ourselves out there, is we're not just looking at trying to push products, not trying to get assets under management and move on to the next client or anything. We really want to be holistic. We want to sit down with our clients, understand what are some of your goals now and in the future, and how do we get there. If we talk about retirement planning, people They don't want to just sit around and wait for like a Social Security check or their pension check or something.
Yeah.
They want to go travel. They want to go on vacation somewhere, buy a vacation home in Arizona or something like that. They want to really enjoy life.
Yeah.
You know, the things that they had to sacrifice to get to that point, they finally want to enjoy it. And then just looking at more advanced planning strategies, a lot of things that we do, there's some advisors that they don't either have access to it, don't really understand it, or don't really know how to implement it. So with our team, right now we have about 7 advisors. We also team up with other advisors in the industry. So, I mean, everyone has their expertise.
Right.
And I would say my expertise and what I like to focus on, being from a small town, I grew up on a farm. I've seen the importance of estate planning, making sure that you're passing down that farm in the most tax efficient way to the next generation. You don't want the kids fighting over the land.
That's a big struggle for people in the ag industry. Yeah.
It is. And a lot of times, especially with today's day and age, I see it in my hometown, you know, it's hard to make it off a couple hundred acres anymore.
Yeah.
So the kids are usually going to the city to find jobs. These bigger farms are buying up all the land and stuff like that, so you don't really know what to do. Mm-hmm. You don't know if one of the kids want to come back and farm. Do you want to leave it for the grandkids? So I get kind of a lot of clients who just get stuck in that mindset, like, well, I don't know how to move forward. Mm-hmm. So we just help them, guide them, like, you know, we can make change to this plan, but we want to
know they need to do something, but they don't know what to do, so they're kind of paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Analysis paralysis.
Yes. So having a plan is better than not doing anything, and we want to make it concrete, so where, you know, we're protecting from any long-term care or Medicaid, any kids fighting over the lands and things like that. But we also want some flexibility in it to make sure, you know, say one of the kids is tired of working in the city, they want to come back and take care of it. Mm-hmm. Do that. As far as like business planning side, we started a segment, especially throughout the last year, on what we want to focus on. Like the owners, they like to do the buy-sell agreements, how to, you know, do the next generation of the business and protect it. I focus a lot on the 401k side. So all of us who do 401ks, we all use the same providers. Mm-hmm. You know, there's really no advantage or disadvantage there. But some 401k providers, they come in, they just sell it to the employer, and then they move on. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I don't know how many clients I have are individuals. They look at the 401k and I ask them, why do they pick those investments? Like, I don't know, like the person next to me picked them. Yeah. Like, they don't know. So, like, our main job, especially on that side, is just educate people. We want to come in at least once a quarter, every 6 months, have a sit down with employees, like, hey, these are the great benefits that you're providing or being provided to. Make sure you're utilizing them. Is there any gaps in coverage? And, like, the little things that they don't understand.
Right, because not everyone went to college where they got a finance degree and they understand, like, the fees associated with different funds and, you know, what is something that's safe versus something that's a little more risky. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody has their own questions about what they should do in those plans. So if you're actually going in and, like, checking on them after you've sold them the plan, like, kudos to you, because I don't think that ever happened in my corporate career.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's the biggest kind of selling point that we have on 401ks.
Yeah.
And it's not like, you know, group health, which we have a great guy in our office who handles that. I don't really touch that part. Mm-hmm. To focus on that, you have to be, like, pretty experienced in it, and you have to focus a lot on it. So they have to renew those every year, right? Yeah. And your ancillary lines and everything else too. Well, 401ks, you don't necessarily have to. If you're over a certain size, you have to be an audit and stuff like that. But some of these 401ks, the smaller ones, you know, they're kind of set and forget it. And that's definitely not what you want to do, because most of the time a 401k is a client's, you know, main source of retirement income. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure it's strategically allocated and making sure that the clients understand what they're doing. There's gaps in coverage. Yeah. And then, you know, if they're getting close to retirement, we obviously want to scale back and things like that. So
make it a little more conservative then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there was a small chance of me becoming a financial planner at one point in time, but I didn't want to sit for the series test. So did you take any of those?
I did. So I have my 66 and 7.
Yeah.
There's kind of like tiers, and that's about the highest one you can do. So your Series 6 and 63, you can usually only focus mostly on, like, mutual funds. Your 66 and 7 opens you up to a lot more investment opportunities. I would say.
Is that where you get into life insurance and?
So it's kind of separate unless you're doing like a variable product. Then you need your securities license for that. I would say the 66 was probably harder for me. Mm-hmm. And I passed them both.
I've heard that one.
Thank God, like, on the first try. But man, it was a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's written by attorneys. it's most of the questions are like the right answer, but it's like which one's the best answer.
Yeah.
And it's like a 4 or 5 hour test, and it takes a lot of time. But
you're disciplined though. I'm sure you were one of those people that actually like plans time for studying and actually
I
does
try
it.
To, yeah. I'm very like
really
I like having
that.
things planned out. And, like, my agenda and like my schedule is always up to date and stuff like that.
You're like routine with everything.
Yes.
Like one time he was telling me about like, oh, I didn't work out like one day. It was like one day in a month or something. I was like, I think that's okay.
I like consistency.
Needed a break. Yeah. Are you do you do like all the habits of highly effective people? Have you read that book?
No, I haven't. Actually, I have the book. It's kind of in a queue right now. I'm going through a couple other ones right now. But I
don't think you need any more routine.
I like having the structure. And
do you have a morning routine?
Morning routine, usually like get up by like 6:30, do my devotionals, and then it kind of depends on the day. Like sometimes
so
I'll work
it's not
out
like exact what you do.
I mean, with my schedule, like it's so sporadic because sometimes clients want to meet in the morning, sometimes they want to meet at night.
Yeah.
And I have like networking stuff that are very consistent throughout the day. But I was working till 2 in the morning on Sunday night, talking to a client in California.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time that we could, and it's how it goes. So I at least try to like plan around it and everything else, but I wouldn't say there's like consistent schedule yet. As I start to develop and everything else, I'll probably start going back to like more.
Yeah, you're totally gonna be that old man that like has his like 2 hours of his day like planned out.
Absolutely. Well, they say if you work out like over your lunch break, that's a little bit more effective. Because like if I work out in the morning by like 3 o'clock, like I'm not gonna lie, like my body just wants to shut down. Like my brain's just tired and worn out. So if you can like get up early, work till like noon, and then work out for an hour or so, and then finish out the day, like
see, that's great for guys. I don't think that's fair for girls because if you get sweaty, then what are you supposed to do? I mean, you can just quick run through the shower and then you're like back out.
Yeah, that's
working.
True. Yeah,
it's not fair.
I know.
Okay, we're totally off topic.
It's
okay, well, tell us. You kind of mentioned something about other businesses that you partner with, just to kind of be like a reference for your clients. Business owners in particular, they always, working on other aspects of the business. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we want to be kind of the quarterback of your financial planning, but at the same time, like we deal with property and casualty. I don't actually write property and casualty, but I want to make sure my clients have the right deductibles, right limits. Some little thing that's kind of gets overlooked is, say if you're driving down the road, you rear-end a surgeon, and they go to sue you, and your deductible or your limits, they're expensed. Well, obviously, if you have to pay out that lawsuit or something, you're dipping into 401ks, IRAs, things like that. Just having like a $1 million umbrella policy is like $200 a month. I don't write that. We have a really good team in our office. Actually, they handle things like that. For estate planning, business planning, we don't actually write the wills, trusts, LLCs, anything like that. We team up some really good attorneys here in town, and they handle that aspect of it too. And as far as tax planning, we're not tax experts. We know enough to be dangerous, I'd say, and what investment vehicles, how they're taxed, and everything else too. But we want to work with your CPAs and making sure that they know way more than we do about it.
Yeah,
we're making sure that they understand exactly what we're trying to accomplish, and we're working as a team, like reaching out to them, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Can we do it this year? Do we have to wait till next year? And things like that. So
yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, because sometimes people have more than one business and they have all of their personal things too, and it's just like, okay, well, is this person talking to this person is talking to this person? You can get pretty spread out, and something can either get missed, or maybe you have like too much coverage in one area and you give them advice to get rid of something so they can save money too. So
yeah, I think communication, education are probably the two biggest parts of what we do.
Yeah,
just educating the attorneys and CPAs, because they don't handle like our business day to day as much, so we want to make sure like, hey, these are the strategies that we're trying to work on, and does that make sense to you or not? And so we're all on the same page, and just overall it's just helping our clients reach their goals, however we want to do that, mitigating as much risk as we can, and just getting some good growth in their portfolios for them. So
awesome.
yeah.
Are you guys looking to add more people to your team?
We're always looking for good experienced advisors or some support staff. We're trying to grow as much as we can. Maybe start segmenting out to different areas too. So I actually just moved to Omaha, even though I'm in Lincoln like 2-3 days a week. There's 3 of us up there. So we're probably looking to grow maybe a couple more advisors up there. We're obviously looking at like Scottsdale, like I told you.
Yeah.
At some point, we'll see if that ever happens. I don't know.
Nice.
But yeah, there's so much opportunity out there. And that's where some advisors, they're like, oh, we're competition. Like, everyone needs help one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
There's so many people that just need our help. So the more people we can just get into this industry, train them the right way, what to do, and put their clients' interest first, then we're more than welcome to add them to the team and, help them be successful. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, he was talking about educating people. It reminded me of a day that you were in my office and you were like whiteboarding all about calls and puts because I couldn't understand options. So he'll break it down like you're a 5-year-old if you need to. So
I mean, that's like the biggest thing about my industry is like it can be very complicated. You have to find ways to make it like simplified so people can understand it.
He uses stick figures and little houses.
Yeah, I'm usually a decent artist. Like, I actually like to do art in my free time every now and then.
I can tell. He like pops up and gets on the whiteboard every chance he can.
Not with that. I'm a very visual person.
Yeah.
And I like to explain things visually instead of just talking about it. So, like, our planning software, it's all visual. Or, like, I love having a whiteboard where I can, like, draw my terrible stick figures and houses. But it made sense, right?
It did.
It
worked. It was like I was a 5-year-old,
cool.
Which is what I asked for, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
Well, if you also are confused by all things financial, I feel like I am fairly knowledgeable. I do have a finance degree, and it still is. It's complex. There's been changes to just accounting and tax law in general. They've added new products that I had no clue existed till I talked to you about some of them, and so I think that's kind of the moral of the story. You might really have your stuff in order, but there's always more to learn, and there's other ways for you to improve your financial planning. So talk to Kolby.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks
it was
for having
fun.
me. Yeah,
always good time.
Always excited to come see you. Big confidence boost.
Yeah. I like to give Kolby a hard time, so.
I don't mind it. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, we're really grateful for you tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thank you.